Incremental greetings. Let's continue the Supermemo course, the Pleasurable expansion. Now it's time for an advanced template that is true or false. How Fowl suggested this. It is quite long. He spends like almost 15 minutes for this template. I will save your time and just review the interesting sections because there's quite a lot of that time here. The pros and cons and all of that. My 2 cents at the end of the day.
Use them for quite a long time, so I really advise a careful search about something you think it's good.
Yeah, basically, that you spend time having the precise images you want. Even though any day you can change them. So no worries, it's not set on a stone.
Okay, what you want to do right now is to create 2 templates, not just one. Okay, so let's go on.
Why 2 templates? It will be true or false. It will look exactly the same. The only difference will be which component is the true and which component is the false. One will be the true, the other one will be the false. And this will have a very dramatic side effect. Limitation.
Tennis. Oh, there is already a child. Okay. What we're doing is a lot of Alt F, and I'm explaining to you how this works. So, this is the element menu, which is basically this. This is the component when you click on the component. Here you have source. You don't really care about this. This is an HTML component, which is the same of the standard components.
By a standard, I think he means the default, usually, and yes, it's a HTML component, even though he many times just calls it text component.
This is a text and formatted component, so like in Notepad, as you can see.
Well, I will skip this because he's explaining stuff we covered already. So you create 2 image components. In this case, they are still empty.
Also, I don't really crop images inside Supermemo. I usually do all the processing outside of Supermemo so that I don't screw up and that I have the cropped image as I want inside Supermemo.
Okay, makes sense. His rule of thumb. Then you are absolutely certain you avoid bugs or whatever thing that, hey, that was not intended or whatever. Once, hopefully, with this course, once you're familiar with this, feel free to crop, as we have seen in the previous videos.
So it's not really no components. You have these 3 that are very important for components. So display at very right. So when you click on the component, we don't see this on quest. All not this time. True.
So remember, he's going to use, and this I suggest this option. You remember we have up to 4 ways to import an image. I suggest this, the Control Q, from your computer, because you don't want to lose quality, because this image will be part of the template. So yes, it's an action that takes more clicks, but it's an action you will do just once, and you will use this template many times, so it's well worth.
Course images.
Again, a meaningful name.
No. Want to delete this file? No, maybe. Not this time. Okay. False check. No. No.
So perhaps something that may be indicated is that you want background. So use PNG, so you have transparent images, and they are good quality enough. They will still be pixelated. It's Supermemo. But this will look better than 2 big squares on the template, unless you use the same background color. Yeah, let's say it's white. If you only use white in your collection, then you can also make JPEG and so on. But the rule of thumb would be this. Now, something that he's missing, he did this freehand. In this case, it's a good example. If you remember, we want this from the sim side. Just as a reminder, I'm not going to cover that because we already did. We have the tile components and even align and size components. That is one of the applicabilities you can use so the true and false are exactly, precisely the same size, the same position, and all of that.
Okay. Okay, now, how, like, pay attention to one thing. Images in Supermemo have three, have three displaying, let me turn down the hints for a second. Have three stretch types. Normal.
We covered that already.
Similar. That one was, and in this case, maybe this.
So basically, long story short, you want filled because if you expand the contents of the element window, the images expand accordingly. The same as the image occlusion, if you remember. Because if you don't, the images will have the same size regardless of the size of the element window. So they will become tinier and tinier and tinier. Not a big deal. Because let's say that you don't do this. You buy a new monitor, a 4K, you had Full HD. Oh wow, now they look super tiny. No worries. You just right click. Well, that's the video. You right click on Supermemo, you change the stretch, and that's it, because it's a template. Done.
Okay, let's do maybe this. I mean, it's.
Do you see he's readjusting manually every single time? It's as easy as the option, the tiling components and the other one centered. It will be as easy as that.
I'll show you my template. I would never use this too, so I'm gonna show you like real quick.
Okay, let's see his genuine collection.
Please don't show some. Okay, this is not as important as. Okay, so new item. These are my.
Did you see that? It's a tiny detail. The images are slightly cropped, but it's because of the actual size of the element window. There's not enough space.
These are my.
You can quickly fix that. Then, how precise it looks depends on you. He prefers this over the one that he's creating now. But at the end of the day, it's cosmetics, so you decide what looks best.
These are my images, which in my opinions are way better. The template pretty much looks the same. So let's go back to the web course. And here, yeah, I would probably make this smaller.
Okay, finally, that is important. MCT. Multiple choice test. So basically, the attribute of the image component is wrong or correct, or basically none, which is the default. That will be the key, and is the reason that one template, the correct will be this one, the true, and the other template, the correct, will be the false. As easy as that.
Here at Tricking Supermemo, you're tricking Supermemo into saying that this is a multiple choice template. And what you're doing...
That's a visual feedback. When you see the item, it doesn't look like that. It's so you visually know which one is the correct. Why? Because it's a multiple choice question, and in reality, and this can be 2, 3, 4, and I think the default has 5 options.
Thing is that these twos are now, this is always true and this is always false. You have to be careful, because if you look here at the template, when we're gonna save this template.
Yeah, spoiler alert, one of the downsides of this approach, among many.
It's gonna give you
Then, if you have true or false question, the only answer you need if it's true or false. There's no need to be so verbose. It doesn't add anything.
the name of the template, so it's gonna say true or false. In this specific case, when we save the template, we don't want any text inside of it, because we're gonna do save with objects. Otherwise, it's not gonna save the images. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We covered that in the previous video. Save with objects. You only want the images. Remember that even if there's text, they won't be propagated. Unless you trigger some bugs, but I think to play safe, yeah, feel free to empty those.
And you say true. Then you say wrong, correct, and you're gonna do template, say with object, call it false. Okay, now we add a simple card and say, let's say this is an item generated with incremental reading, okay? And I do this sometimes. And I say it's about George Washington. George Washington is the first president of the USA. True, false. True, false, true. And so when I see this card,
Exactly, this is how we'll do it. Just plain and simple, question and answer. The only difference is that true or false, I put it at the beginning. So since the start, I already know which kind of card it is. True or false? George Washington is the first president of the USA. True. That's it. You don't waste your time with the templates, or then you need to click the element as grading if you want. It's an overkill, a huge overkill. And then he said, I think he will share it. There are still some minutes left. That here, if you see the name, the true template or the false template, already gives you the answer. It doesn't matter if you put something cryptic like underscore and question mark, so it's not that obvious. But at the end of the day, you know that this name will be unique. And that name, one will be true, the other will be false.
After incremental reading, because I've closed true, so here you would have this. The simple thing that I do is Ctrl-Shift-M.
Apply template.
And now, if I do repetition, I just need to click here.
Exactly. And once you answer, you have the visual feedback once again to detect if you were correct. And now he has the compose panel, but if he had the learn panel, we will see that the rating is number 4. If you do it right, the correct answer, the grade is number 4. If you select any other, which is a fail, it will be the option 2 of the recall.
And it's true. So let's add another one. So made this in your drill, or the next day is just convert it into the template. So now it has the.
We see already that this is false. Then something good you can do is when it's false, say why. Because if it's true, okay, it's true, it's already there, right? The statement already contains information. But if it's false, why this is false? Is there something misleading, a common error, or stuff like that? It is reptile? No, it's not reptile, it's marine. That's it.
Template, and when you do the repetition, you go, oh, I know the answer is false. As simple as that.
I don't like this, by the way. If you do this for exams, okay, go with it, because you already have an artificial requirement with exams. If this is for true or false. Actually, I do this myself, but won't be. We will cover this in the section of formulation because that's now the template. But just very briefly, you will say this statement is or is not, like the opposite. Like for instance, we had before the Washington. Washington was the first president of the USA. Then I have George Washington was not the first president. So first, I always have the pair, the statement and the opposite statement. So one will be true, the other will be false. I always have the pair. And then it's negating the statement. It's not making something up. Like Allosaurus.
And this was the true or false template, like nothing really fancy. Okay, you need two image components that you make into...
Yeah, okay, so there's nothing else. Then let me share my 2 cents. Now, I go to my collection. Okay. So that's what I do. So that's my template. It's just those characters. Tonight refers to the present or coming night. True. Tonight refers to the past night, last night. False. That's it. Super simple, perhaps you want an image, but my suggestion is don't waste your time creating those templates. Here's the video is how you can do it. Feel free to do it and experiment. But my suggestion is later you will realize that this creates maintenance. And some limitations, if you can get spoiled. You need to select one or the other template. Maintenance is not worth it. And you need to select one component instead of just answering and so on. My best advice, don't create the true or false question. Template. Do the items. Yes, absolutely. For redundancy, they're awesome. But don't create this template. But you're free to do whatever you want. That's why I still created this video. That's all you need to know. And in the next video, we will see the full-fledged multiple choice question, because this is like a tricky way to achieve the same result. See you in the next video.